good afternoon. I'm Catherine Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Communications for the Brevard Author Society. And today we're at the Authors for Authors Conference, and I'm with Janet Balletta. She is the author of several books here. She is a second grade teacher in Port St. Lucie.
That is correct.
South of here, just a little south of here. We're in Brevard right now. What made you decide to write these books?
Well, my first book that I wrote is titled The Legend of the Colombian Mermaid. It was my favorite bedtime story that my mother shared with us during Holy Week and Easter.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a beautiful legend that later in life I wanted to share it with my children and children at large because it teaches lessons on obedience and family values and cultural traditions. And that was my first book. It's also translated into Spanish as La Leyenda de la Sirena Colombiana.
Okay. You have all your books in the Port St. Lucie Library.
My books are in the Port St. Lucie Library. I have an Amazon website page, and I also have a website, janetballetta.com.
janetballetta.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what you have another book there also. What is that?
Well, this is my second book. My second book is titled The Legend of Roberto Cofresi, a Puerto Rican legend, and this was also a favorite childhood story that my father shared with us. And it talks about basically Roberto Cofresi's life, and he's recognized as a Puerto Rican hero for helping the poor people in Puerto Rico during a time of famine in the 1800s. And it's also a beautiful legend that teaches on generosity, loyalty, and cultural traditions. And that's the reason why I published this second book. It's also translated into Spanish as La Leyenda de Roberto Cofresi, un héroe de Puerto Rico.
Okay, cool. So what inspired you to write these stories?
Well, I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I've been teaching for almost 30 years now. And I love education. I love sharing stories with children. I'm also a mother, a grandmother, and it's just a joy. It's just what I love to do. I love to create stories and engage children in fiction and fantasy and story, the whole entire story writing process.
Mm-hmm. Well, when did you start writing? As a child, or?
I actually started writing professionally. I released my first book in 2015.
But as a child, were you always interested in stories?
Yes, I practically grew up in the New York City Public Library.
Okay.
I'm from New York originally, so that's what you do. After school, you spend your time in the library. Back then, there was no Google, there was no computers. So, of course, that created a love for books and a love for writing.
And this is what you're trying to pass on to your students, too?
Absolutely, absolutely. Foster a love for literature, be passionate about literature and writing and books and writing for life.
Okay, so are all your books based on folk tales, or are there some?
Well, I think they're kind of cross between folk tales, and now it's going more like towards fantasy because I'm obsessed with mermaids. So I'm here today actually launching my new book. It's called Mermaids on a Mission to Save the Oceans. And this one takes a little turn for the environment. And the reason I was inspired to write this book was because when we moved to Port St. Lucie back in 2004, and we basically, my husband came from Miami, and we moved from West Palm, where we had been living. There was water pollution in the beaches, and there was algae, and we were in the news, and there was lots of problems with that. You couldn't go to the beach. I mean, we're lucky enough to have a pool at home, but I was thinking about that, and I thought, wow, that would make a great book for children to be more cognizant and aware of how the environment is important and how it relates to your daily life.
That's true. It's very, very true.
Because when you're not able to go to a public beach, I mean, that says a lot for a community.
That's right.
And I know that the tourism in Florida also took a hit on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had less tourism in the area. And basically, I'm just asking children to make a pledge, an ocean pledge for Earth Day. So I'm here launching my book and asking children to make a pledge for ocean pledge for Earth Day.
Today is Earth Day, so
It
this is a good
Earth
time
Day,
to do
so
it.
that is why I picked today to launch the book and just continue with in my career with education.
Okay.
And
Is this book also bilingual?
not yet, because this is brand new.
Okay.
This is brand new, and usually to translate the book, it's a process, maybe a year process.
Okay, well then we can look forward to having it in
It could
Spanish
be,
also.
it could happen.
Okay.
Anything is possible.
I was wondering, do you write every day?
Well, in a sense, I feel like I do, because we're always writing in one way or another, in some kind of a genre or another, whether it's emailing or whether it's writing for work or writing in school when you're teaching or writing a blog. I do blog on my website.
Oh, you do have a blog on your
Yes,
website. That's good to know.
JanetBalletta.com. So I blog. I try to blog at least 2 or 3 times a month. It gets a little difficult because, of course, I teach full time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big undertaking.
Is your blog bilingual? Or
No,
is it just
it's in English.
Okay.
It's in English. English is my first language.
Okay.
So, I mean, I am bilingual, but I'm more comfortable.
No, I was just
English.
curious because sometimes the authors have it both, and I was just asking about that, wondering about that. So, do you have so when you write, do you have an outline, or do you just follow whatever comes into your head, seat of the pants type
I
thing?
kind of follow the things that we do in school and the way we teach in schools. I've read several books on the craft of writing stories for children. So I've taken a little bit of everything and hopefully mixed it up and come out with a story that is engaging for children. And I try to make my books or write my books so that they include a positive message. I want my children, whether they're my students or my own personal children or grandchildren, to leave the book, finish the book with a positive message.
Oh, definitely. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Have you ever thought of writing in any other genre?
I have, and I'm thinking about writing a novel, but of course that's probably sometime in the near future after I retire. I'm still working full time, so I don't have any immediate plans for that, but it is for the future.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say to beginning authors?
Just write and rewrite and edit and rewrite and edit, because I'm an overthinker and I overwrite and over-edit everything. And I remember when I was publishing my first book, The Legend of the Colombian Mermaid, my publisher would ask me, "Are you done yet?" And I kept telling him the same thing. I'm almost done. I'll have it ready for you by tonight, by tomorrow morning. But if you don't do that, I mean, there's so many things that go unnoticed, where if you don't go through the revision process, you would never catch all there is to catch.
Oh, that's true. I'd like to thank you for being with us today, Janet. And you can check out her books on the website again.
JanetBalletta.com or Amazon or books in Barnes & Noble.
And don't forget, she writes a blog. Thank you.
Thank you.